Here we are again. How are we all doing, everyone? I hope you are keeping well out there. So tonight we have something, we haven't done a TV video in another while. And those of you who watch the channel will recall that about 2 months ago now, I did a video on a early 90s Grundig 25-inch set. Really nice television, really nice. Well, the house that I bought that off, that was not the reason why I went there. This GEC television was the reason I went there. And then they had that one to dispose of as well, so I took it too. But this was the real reason I went. And this is a 24-inch GEC. And it's been kept indoors its whole life. It's in reasonable condition. The cabinet is quite reasonable cosmetically. Quite reasonable indeed. We're missing a couple of brights out of the knobs. Nothing special. I think the owner may have been a smoker. There's a bit of something or other on the CRT face. However, I bought this off a young couple who were after just buying this house. A very nice house indeed. Standalone bungalow, 5 bedrooms, with a very large workshop attached to the house, cum garage. And these, the Grundig and this television were upstairs in an attic. A little small attic room, and they wanted to dispose of them, of course, and I duly helped them. Wasn't very expensive at all, quite reasonably priced. So we know that the television was probably there its whole life, just on the border, up near Carlingford, and it's in very nice condition. So we're going to see, can we get it going. I bought it originally as I was going to nick the line output transformer out for another one I have here, which I'll be making a video on in the near future. However, when I got up to see it and I reprised the condition of the cabinet and so on, I kind of thought it was noteworthy of it being saved itself. So tonight we are going to try to power it up and see what it does or doesn't do, which will be quite interesting. As I say, it's in quite nice condition. You will recall some months ago that I got a very poor condition GEC television, which had been left out in the rain and so on, and worked amazingly well. And it in itself is probably savable. However, it's going to be a toss-up between it and this one, which one donates its line output transformer to the rather special GEC set that I have to show you yet. However, one thing we learned from that video was that these GEC televisions are very robust, and will take an awful lot of hardship. Now hopefully that doesn't let me down tonight, because this one, as I say, has been stored very well, which is quite rare, whereas the other one had been out in the rain. So we will see if it wants to play ball or not. So what I will do is I'll bring in the phone first and we'll have a look at the cabinet and the condition before we turn it around, take the back off and so on. You can see there's a bit of, I don't know if this is nicotine or just dirt or whatever. Missing 2 knob brights, that's fair enough, we can probably live with that. We see that the tuner has letters and numbers, which means that it has geared up for 625 line on VHF, the Irish Republic Standard. And then we see that she has a button tuner for UHF with BBC's 1 and 2, ITA 1, and the Will It Ever Come ITA 2, which of course became Channel 4. Was this television still in service then? Possibly. And you see it proudly displays 24 inches of monochrome picture quality. So there you can see the cabinet is in very nice, if a little bit grubby condition. Should come up quite well. 1 or 2 little scuffs. There was a little sticker on it at the side of it at some stage. Little mark there. Nothing you'd get too worried about. It did have and has fitted spindle sockets, so it was on spindly legs. They were not produced, they were not about, so they might have been repurposed into a coffee table or something, which was often the case. So that's the story there. We'll flip her around. Looking at the back, you can see some of the screws are a little bit rusty, but the house it was in was empty for quite a while, so it may have become slightly damp. But again, we're not going to worry about too much. All original screws are present, so it'll be interesting to see is there any sign of repair. when we whip the back off. Lovely stuff. Oh, by the way, for any of you Reg Dixon fans. Anyway, enough of that. As we can see, nice original layer of dust, as we like to see that. It means no one's been in here messing around. Very nice condition, actually. This is very nice condition indeed. Quality GEC stuff. Of course, the double-sided print, which everyone hates for good reason. It can be very awkward. You have to be very careful, or you will lift print on these and ruin the PCB quite quickly. And what I mean by double-sided print, for anyone that mightn't be up to speed, there's print on this side, there's also print on the other side, so makes soldering and desoldering components a little bit of fun. Little cage is intact. It looks like all the original valves are in place. Yeah, they're not branded though. That's a bit odd. They're non-branded valves, unless someone stuck a full set in. But you'd imagine you'd see, you know, a set of Mullard valves or whatever. They're all unbranded. PCL 85. Put him back in. None of them are white capped, which is a good sign. Means she hasn't been in damp or harsh conditions with temperature fluctuating. And there's our little cage here is all intact. Sometimes these go missing one. In the later years, when the TVs were coming to their end, the boys might come out to change a line output valve or whatever. Mightn't bother putting this back, you know. And we can see our line output valve tucked in there, and our boost diode beside it. Also looking quite healthy. And there's our line output transformer there. Yellow label Mullard 861 120. It'll be interesting to see how much life is left in her. And we can see we have a transistorized UHF tuner and valve VHF tuner. And the system switch works on a solenoid, which is... oh no, it doesn't. Oh, some of these were solenoid, I believe. This one is not. It's rod controlled off the VHF tuner. Wonderful. Let's see that in action then. See, does that work? For there it goes. It's going into 405 there, I'd say. Seems to be going up and down quite nicely. So system switch is intact. A lot of these towards the end would have had the system switch soldered up because they gave a lot of trouble. So towards the end of their days they would have been fixed in 625 line position only, which, you know, wasn't great for any of us to come back now on 405 line operation again. Nice cabinet. This I don't think I'm going to be breaking this for a line output transformer somehow. I don't think so. I don't see a date code anywhere in the cabinet either, unfortunately, but we might find one on our electrolytic somewhere as we go on. More good news, of course, is that there are Mullard mustard caps fitted. These are 100% reliable. Not so reliable are these electrolytics. And even less reliable are these plasti molds, and these blue and whites, not so reliable either. But at least there's no dirty waxies in there to be replaced. Yeah, I think we're looking good for a bit of a run up on our old friend the Verdiac if we can dig him out. Definitely. Right, we're all set up, television switched on. We're monitoring one of the HT rails here on the Evo, which you can see. So I'm just going to crank it up to, I don't know, about 60 volts there. We'll see what happens. And we've no indication at all on the Evo, which isn't a good start. So maybe the dropper could be open or something like that. But, you know... Right, I'll leave the Variac at around 25 volts, and I'll see if I'm getting anything up at the switch. So we're checking to see if we have any AC voltage up at the switch on 25 volts set in the variac or thereabouts, so it's going to do anything too serious to us. Let's just have a squint and see. The mains lead comes up here, goes through this little inline fuse holder like you'd see in a car, up to the switch. And there's nothing there. Knock it off. We'll check the inline fuse holder because that's the low hanging fruit before we go opening the plug. Oh there. Right, maybe this is why the television was taken out of service. As we can see, that's had a rather violent end, and it's 1.5 amps. So a nice Belling-Lee fuse. Tasty. 1.5 amps. Not to dig one of them out. So was this the reason why it was taken out of service? Did the fuse go? Did something go wrong? We shall see. Fuses. Ten amp wouldn't really be the thing to use now. Let me see, what is this? Oh, 1.5 amp. Lovely stuff. Here we have one here, 1.5 amp. Hey, take him out of there. We'll try that again, just to see what happens. Turn the variac down to 0, switch it on, and wind it up a little bit. Oh, immediate movement now on the meter. So we can see, we'll bring the phone in now, or the camera should I say, right? And we can monitor. Turn that on, turn this off. Right, so we've as much light off as we can. Sort of. Right, we are at 28 volts in. And now this isn't going to be accurate because it's being used vertical instead of on the back. So they're not accurate on the vertical, but they're a good indication. Right. So we've around 300 volt scale, probably around 20 or 30 volts DC coming out the pipe. So we'll wind on. We've no signal input yet or anything like that. We're at 70 volt AC for around 80. For around 80 DC. Going again. This is really exciting. 100 volt AC. 110. Right, we'll let her sit there for a second like that. Right, I've gone to the effort of going down to mood lighting as well, just so it'll be easier for us to see the heaters started low or EHT corona leaking somewhere or any of the good stuff like that. So we'll power on. We're still at 100 volt AC and the GC has climbed. The HT is around 120, so it's giving stuff a chance to reform a little bit. Let's go up. We can see that the pointer on the meter is very responsive to the AC input, which is good. It's just not pushing against any low impedances as such. What I mean by that is it means that the cap isn't drawing a heavy current. sometimes if a cap is slow to reform or something, the needle will come up an awful lot slower than the in response to the AC input being turned up. We're at 122 volt AC in now, and we've around 150 DC input, or DC coming on one of the HT rails. I don't know which HT rail I'm monitoring. I think there's a couple in this. No heater low just yet. Oh, does the... No, not yet. Oh, we have the triode in the PCL 85 is just starting to glow here. So let's see where this brings us. We have the brightness and contrast both set to maximum. We also have the volume turned up a bit, so we should start to hear stuff as and when. Now, as the heater start to come on and the valves start to conduct, I would expect the HT to start to drop or rise less slowly. 140 input now. You can see the CRT is just starting to get a bit of a glow on it too, so that's good. Tube heater is starting to glow at 140 volt. We shall continue up, and I can hear the glimmer of a line whistle at 160 volt AC. We won't hang about now in this condition because low line drive is not good for the line output transformer, you know. I can also hear that smell. No, anybody who restores televisions or works with televisions will know the smell that I'm getting now, and it's not an unpleasant smell, but it's a smell more or less unique to television sets, and that is the smell of ceramic resistors drying out after many years in hibernation. And it's a lovely smell. We're a bit strange, but it's something special. And I think all television shops used to have that odour in them. And yeah, I think I'm going to get that made up as an aftershave. Huge television. There's a strong line whistle now at 160 volts AC. And it sounds like it's on 405. Continuing on up now, let's go to 170, and we have raster. Look at that. Oh, I think we've hit the jackpot with this one. That's nice and bright. That is nice and bright. Well, we'll know when we see a test card, but 170 volt up the pipe, and that's what we're getting. That's serious. Right. Let's party on. We'll take her on up. Nice and easy. You can see the HTs going on up. North of 200. We can also see the dropper smoking. Let's turn on the light there, see if we can see that. See the smoke coming off the dropper? A lot of people have a little poo when they see this happening, but it's not always a bad thing. We'll find out soon enough if it is. But it's probably just drying out. They're just burning off. We'll see in a minute. We're not going to worry about it too much. You can see the frame hole is out a mile. Let's see if we can do anything about that. Which one's the frame? Vertical hole is the first one on the left. There we go. Let's drop our smoking away. Look at that. Can you see the smoke on the camera? You can. But I wouldn't get too concerned about that just yet. We'll go on up another bit. We'll leave it at 220 because we don't know if it is set for 220 or 240. I didn't check. It could very well be set for 220 volts, so we won't overrun it. Right, as I say, it sounds like it's on 405. We can, I'll tell you what, I'll twiddle the 405 hold control, and if we hear the line stage, yeah, 405. We will try to get it on 625. I'll do some boring stuff now to try and tune in a signal. Right, we've managed to get her on 625 lines. We have a signal going into it, and we're just tuning her in. We can hear that the test card test tone is coming through quite nicely. The smoke has burned off, which we expected. The fuse did not blow again either, so it'd be interesting to know what that was. Perhaps the main snubber across the switch went short circuit and blew the fuse, and then blew itself open. They go open then. Quite possible. Anyway, let's twiddle this the rest of the way and see what kind of a test card we get. I think that's it. The sink is, we've an issue with the sink, but that's about it. HF response in the video section isn't wonderful, but that's not bad for a first attempt, is it? Look at that. That's not bad at all. I think our tube has a bit of life left in it, which is odd for one of them, because they're crap usually. Plenty of brightness, not smearing. Let's go for the contrast. Yeah. I wonder why the HF response in the video is so poor. We'll have to look into that. So that's on 625. I don't have a 405 line source just to hand today. That's unbelievable. I'm glad I bought this now. I don't think we'll be breaking this one for the line output transformer. However, yeah, that's not bad at all. Take that any day of the week. These GECs do give a good account of themselves. Definitely. I think this was one worth putting up on the bench. I had wanted to get this on the bench for a long time. And I finally managed to tonight. So that's good. Let's see what the model is. If I think that's the label there. Is it? No, chassis number there. It's a GEC 20 something. Well, I don't know what. Someone out there might know. Because the label's gone off the back. However, look at that picture. If the video response was a little bit better now, we wouldn't feel so bad at all. But this was one well worth doing. Look at that. I think we could get that a bit better now if we put a bit of effort into it. Absolutely. I am curious about the VHF switch, because on H she goes into 625. There's no... Usually you have a U for UHF that you switch to, but it doesn't seem to be the case on this. A little bit odd. Yeah, however, that's it. No more to say about it tonight, except a very worthy set. And well worth doing. Well worth doing. Quite pleased with that. I wonder what year it is. I have a feeling this could be quite a late one. Could be 72 or 73 even. Any Mullard fanatics want to tell me what the date code is in the CRT? I'm sure they'll got to find one on that cap there. It's also interesting to note that none of the valves are branded. So, yeah. Right, I'll leave it at that for now. Dual Standard GEC works first time. Take care.